Well, howdy me howdy, I am the Damn Cat Gaming, and this is going to be my opinion and take on the newest GT7 update. It came out earlier today. So we see it's update 1.7.1, and let's get into it. This is going to be the first time I booted up the game, so we're going to go through it. There's one thing I wanted to do before that. So obviously, we'll update a press release pertaining to the update, and see, obviously they're going to highlight the fact that they've added new cars, the Caterham 7 Super Light. This is probably, in my opinion, the one interesting car that they've added. The Hyundai Ioniq 6. It's also added the Toyota Chaser Tour, 90s Japanese car. Then you have to go to Mark II Tour as well. It's also added. I think these are pretty big in the JDM and tour and just general collection purposes. New circuits are joining the lineup. FR Challenge for Japanese, European Clubmen, World Cup Tour for Suzuka. New location and curation for Scapes, Whistler in Canada, Whistler Mountain. And now the more important bit, the changelog. So update for version 1.71, the Caterham, the Hyundai, Toyota Chaser, and Toyota Mark II. Some of the new world circuits. Caterham was added to Brand Central, which we would expect unless it was only going to be in used or Legends, but I don't think this car would warrant being in Legends. Used, maybe, but even then, adding it to Brand Central makes sense. And then, of course, some changes to the cafe dealing with a new car. Including, as always, with every update like this, a seasonal menu which incentivizes you to go out and collect these new cars. And GT Auto, some more engine swaps for the Mercedes-Benz 300 SCL, 6.8 AMG, the SLS AMG, the Caterham, the Ford Focus, the Red Bull Junior. That's a shock. Mitsubishi Lancer, the Porsche 911 GT3 996, the Suzuki Swift Sport, and the Toyota Chaser and Mark II. Get engine swaps with Scapes, Whistler Mountain is added. And then here's the other bit. This is actually the bit that is what is really prompting me to make this video, is going over these changes to the physics model, just the tire physics. Let's see, they've adjusted the algorithm for simulating tire slipping, road surface resisting, system being optimized, tire heating and wear values, and the amount of tire grab loss when reduction off track is real has been adjusted a little bit. Just that engine torque control, throttle control characteristics are when drifting have been improved, car speed control and partial throttle improved. Physics models for suspension and steering geometry for each car has been optimized, improving turning forces. Damper characteristics haven't changed, to make stance changes and road tracking feel better. Natural, not necessarily better. Just some values for some of the default settings for suspension and diff gear. Just set performance points. Just the parameters of each car, not very clear. Just the maximum engine RPM for the Lexus RCF GT500 for the 2016. Sled Group 2, Lexus and GTR, the Super Formula cars have had their RPMs adjusted. Shift up simulation has been adjusted for the Red Bull 2019, where the gear will not shift up unless the throttle is engaged. Interesting. So no shifting up before going onto throttle, apparently. We'll have to check that out. Torque control on the following cars with electric motors, where front can be used to set from 0 to 100, 100 0 in car settings, or the multifunction display. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, which was introduced a few updates ago. The maximum RPM of electric motors on the Audi e-tron. Just a fuel consumption rate for the Nissan Tecna and the Honda CR-V. Just the car's behavior to force downshifting cars where manual is available within just the settings. Just the driving since the behavior of traction control has been optimized. Separation control and corner brake behavior under ABS has been adjusted. With pad users, adjusted the steering characteristics of the analog sticks and directional pad, and adjust the response of throttle and brake. It doesn't tell you how, so that's something we're going to explore as well. And for steering controllers, like what I have, just the force feedback, strength and friction, adjusted the vibration, just the input characteristics, and parameters in particular for the Fanatec GT Pro, Extreme, and Podium. And setting auto setup will now apply to my set of parameters, so you don't have to do it manually if you have that wheelbase. I do not, so I won't be going through that. And the auto setup may require a firmware update on the Podium just for low torque mode. If you use high torque mode, parameters still have to be manually tweaked. Cool. Force feedback, full force effect for the Fanatec GTD Pro. Planned upgrades required to use this feature. But that has a key mechanical damage. Just as the collision forces under which damage is incurred, as well as the effects of damage to driving. I guess so that's going to affect sensitivity of receiving damage in a championship setting under the mechanical damage options. Choosing this setting, cars will be damaged in the same way as on light, but for more minor collisions. Furthermore, with the setting enabled, recovery time will vary depending on the severity of damage. That's interesting. For Music Rally, all boards reset. Just target times for all circuit experience and demonstration replays. All of our braking boards have been reset. Just the performance points for the lightweight K-Cup. Just all the times for license center, mission, all of the. All right, other stuff that but we're getting into more miscellaneous stuff. So, I think a good way to do this. Let's see how much the Caterham is. To BRPN, your United Kingdom. One color. We're going to have to change that. Oh no, I don't have credits. What a shame. Oh, okay, there we go. We went and saw some stuff. Now we have credits to buy this piece of machinery. I think so this actually that will not be a good car to test with, but we see this 75,000 credits. Not too bad. As much as I want to, we will. Actually, yeah, we will. Then we'll see if we can get a feel for the car, and then we'll go into other. So, as I am wont to do, we're going to go to my favorite track for testing these things. How spicy is this thing? Time trial, and I've got to actually start populating this thing again. We'll do 1330. Oh, it actually didn't reset the rankings board. Okay, that's interesting. See how spicy this thing is. On sports hards. Ooh. Not a lot of grip and very spicy. Okay. Well, let's start that over. Oh no. I felt that going wrong well before I got on the power. I could tell the rear was loose, but I kept trying to power through it. This thing is no weight on the rear. I don't know how much of this is physics change and how much this is just the way this car is anyway. So we'll have to follow this up with a car that I'm a little more familiar with. The rear just has no desire to hold on to the road. We only got 6 gears. Yep. Little too late on the turn-in, I think. Well, specifically late on the release of the brake. Some of you are not trying to go too fast. It'll take the curves like a champ, it seems like. Oh, I felt that earlier. The rear was just like, nope, 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 nope. Very soft and springy. Very spicy to drive, that's for sure. Okay, I don't like the curves that much. Wow. I do like I can feel that was happening ahead of time. We might have to recreate one of my older tests after this. I just want to see how this car handles, and it's a spicy little thing. Definitely have to be on your toes because that rear end really wants to go around. Unfortunately, I don't have before footage before the. I didn't think to do it yesterday. Oops. So you can see all this lap, warts and all. This is the first time I've driven this car, obviously, so I don't know what to expect with it entirely. So obviously we're not gonna try to dial in anything right now. We don't have no upgrades. I didn't even buy better compound tires. I don't know compound We're on these tires, this thing, until I actually got it. It's sports hards. It's a stock compound. It's a little dab of the brake there, just because this thing is very prone to oversteer already. I can already tell that much about it. Actually, no braking time, of course. Especially on these lower speeds, first and second, it really wants to go. I don't know how we're going to take the carousel. The short answer was it's probably not a good idea to try to take. Oop. Yeah, it was not a good idea to go through the carousel. So it's got a lot of torque for first and second. So moderate use of the curbing is fine. Aggressive use, not so much. A little bit of a cut there. I didn't like that curb. That was probably too much curb. Whee! This thing, I already feel this car would be very fun to drive around here in real life. A little too early on the turn in there. Whoop! So you do that. Alright, coming on to the long straight. Let's see, do we actually hit the rev limiter? Bleh. If not, we're very close to it. Oh no. Nope. Okay, we hold on to it. An 822. But that is with a spill or two, so not too bad, not too bad. The car's spicy. I don't know how much of that spiciness is just from the changes in physics and how much of that is from me not knowing that car. We're not going to watch that. Alright. So, let's recreate one of my previous tests, shall we? Alright, so we have set up our test lobby. It's a little private lobby that I do. So this is how we're going to test it. We are at Not Panorama with BOP implied. We're going to test the Ford GT around this track. This is the track this car I like to test with. So lobby settings are basically equal conditions. Tire wears are like tire and fuels are like 3x. We're going to be on racing softs for this test. And we're just going to do a out lap and a flying lap. And I'm going to do this twice. I'm going to do it once on the pad and once on the wheel. And actually, for this one, I'll actually let you see me do this one. Alright, so first run we're going to do with the pad. This is not going to be a good run because I have not driven on pad in a while, but I do want to have a comparison. I do know pad has kind of sucked here lately, and so I want to see if this update is any good, right? So I want to see if pad users are beneficial, especially if you haven't, or you're like me, something happens to my wheel. Oh no, can I still be reasonably competitive with my current skill level with a pad? So let's find out. All right, so one thing we're going to look for is just how was the car corner with a pad? Is it easier or more difficult? So I don't have much practice with pads anywhere in general. But we're going to see anyway, because this is a good track to really test this kind of thing. We'll just after a lap or so, we'll see. Could have taken it out a little bit faster. And we're also testing out that championship damage mode, by the way, so we're going to see how that works out. Oh. All right. You know what? Mulligan. Maybe I should do wheel first. That was a me mistake there. This is just the outlap, so it's fine. We also do want to compare tire wear between pad and wheel, because so far pad users have had it rough with generally worse tire wear. For a second time's a charm, I guess. Oh no, we haven't done the actual flying lap yet. This is just the out lap. Alright, so here we go. Here's our flying lap. How well do we do? Much better that time. Not a lot. The pad actually feels pretty good. I'm just not familiar with it. I'm slowing down way too much for that. Oh wow, we got a little bit of rear aero for that. Wow. Now this is set to that new championship mode, so I don't know how long it's going to go away. If it's going to go away. I didn't realize I hit anything. I think we just clipped the rear wall. So damage action seems to be a lot more sensitive now. That was a horrible final corner. So 210, 165. Alright, we're going to do it again. This time with a wheel. Something I'm a little more familiar with. So we need to be at 2 minutes and 10. I should be able to because I am more familiar with the wheel. So we're going to give it a go. This car is actually a bit twitchier than I remember. Wow. So some of that is actually going to be physics change as well. I don't remember the GT being this prone to being that twitchy. Like rear actually wanted to kick out there. GT is one of the, it was at least has been, if you're not on like slick stuff, GT has been like one of the harder cars to spin. Our all app is proving to be worse on wheel than pad, which is crazy. Oh. Screw that up. Not enough to warrant a mulligan, thankfully. And we're going to see if that damage goes away, and if so, how long. Because the thing with the championship thing that I remember it saying was that depending on the severity of the damage will determine how long it's there. And we've already seen, at least on the pads, get a good pressure on the wall with some suspension damage. You're not going in a straight line anymore. Wow, we are not doing well at all. Wow, I've completely forgotten. Okay, yep, we're mulligan now. Ah, we've got a mulligan. Alright, take two. Take two. We gave ourselves a mulligan for the pad, so we'll take a mulligan for the wheel. So yeah, this car is one of the harder cars really to spin, at least prior to this update. You kind of have to get like sense of curb or grass really to spin this thing. I actually didn't catch what the tire wear was whenever we finished the pad, so I'm gonna actually have to go back and look. Hot grass. So that's why we spun there. We took our one mulligan earlier with the damage, so I'm gonna have to potentially take some damage at some point just to see how long the damage will last. Took that wonkily. Right now we're like a second off, which is like not what I was expecting. The tower looks about similar from what I can recall at this point. Yeah, we were like 2 seconds off. Wow. I don't know what happened there. But I do know one thing I want to do so we can look at it later. We'll do 15 minutes. Oh, it did 30. Okay, that's fine. Alright. So. Yep, we're fixing to do it. Okay, now we're actually going to deliberately take damage and just see how long it takes and just how well the car drives. And we're going back to our familiar little just want to stick to the wheel here. Will we do this? Alright, we got some front and rear aero. Let's get some suspension in there. There we go. Oh wow, yeah. Like the wheel is like definitely pulling left, pulling to the right now. Well, I can balance it out, but wow, this is. Wow, yeah, you haven't had to do this in GT7 before. I mean, the last time I like this. Now, the one thing I want to see is, hey, is it permanent or does it actually So I'm pretty sure I set this to championship, so it should. In theory, go away at some point. It's been more than 30 seconds, so it's gonna be here a while. I mean, yeah, the wheel is pulling hard right. Well, suspension damage went away. But we still got the aero. So yeah, so a championship, depending on. All right, so was our okay? The rear's gone away. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say what I'm saying here now. If you're when you're thinking about if you have damage, it may not be worthwhile waiting it. Like if you're in, especially with championship setting, because we're going a full lap, and we still have the front damage a whole lap later. So even though it does eventually go away, that must have been some very severe damage. Holy cow. Over a lap in and we still have that front aero damage. It finally went away. Halfway into the second lap. Alright, and I'm not gonna lie, this car feels actually a little better than it did previous update as well. Admittedly, it has been a while since I've driven the GT, but it's actually handling a lot better than I remember it handling before as we go sliding into the grass. Taking some more suspension damage. Alright. Oh yeah, if you're on a pad, oh that's gonna suck. Oh wow, yeah, having suspension damage when you're on a pad, that's really gonna suck. Holy shit! Because you don't really because hang on, let me pull out my pad. Let me swap over to pad. You have no clue how much it's wanting to pull. So yeah, with suspension damage and pad within this mode, holy cow, yeah, you have no clue how much you're going to want to hold it over. Holy cow. And it's like as you go faster, you're actually having to give it more and more input. Holy cow, yeah. Somehow that didn't result in front right suspension damage. Oh my gosh, turning. Okay, we got. Alright, our suspension damage went away. Alright. So suspension damage is probably going to go away pretty quickly. The aero damage, not so much. Alright. Yeah, we'll just take the escape road there. Yeah, we picked up a second penalty doing that. Alright, let's get some suspension damage. Actually, I want to get some engine damage to see how long that lasts. But yeah, on a pad, this sucks. Because how much do you hold it over? Like, you don't really have a way to know how much to... You have no... There's no way to know at what... Without just... Yeah, you have no way of knowing how much to go over. At least with the wheel, the force feedback kind of centers it for you. On a pad, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I wonder, does that balance it out? Not really. We got it worse on the left side. Yeah, it's... Oh, no. Okay, yeah, now it is, because the right side's finally repaired. Alright. I wonder, can we get fast enough to get engine damage at this point? I want to see how long engine damage lasts. You would have thought that would have been engine damage, but it's... There's engine damage. Oh wow, okay, that's how long that's gonna last. Like, I'm fighting two things at once here with the pad right now. As I'm gaining speed, it's trying to bring the input more to center, so I'm having to counter that by pulling the steering out more. But I can only do that so far before... Okay, engine damage did not last long at all. Full lock and just like... It's like, what do you do? Like, how do you know? Like, I just made that holding basically letting go of the stick. Okay, we have our damage. All right. And then the arrow damage lasts forever. So, engine damage seemed to last about 10-15 seconds. The suspension seemed to last about 30. A little over 30. The arrow, forever. It's like minutes. Alright, that's enough information about that. And really I think that's going to be it. Yeah. So obviously this update there's also going to be BOP changes. So there might be a new meta car in the Group 3s and 4s for daily races if you're into that. You know what? I'm curious. Does this update benefit a certain car that I do not like? I have one for the cheese and giggles of it, but I absolutely loathe this car. The last time I drove this car, it drove like ass for me. Is it actually drivable? Can I actually drive this car now? Let's find out. Can we do better than the 210-1 and the rolling chainsaw? This car, by the way, at least before this update, was the meta. Everyone and their mama drove this car. I didn't because A, I hate the Porsche. I hate the way it drives. Generally, I have a love-hate relationship with the Ford GT. I'm not particularly good with it because it is a mid-engine car, and I don't do mid-engine very well to begin with. I like my front-engine cars. So yeah, it's driving better than the Ford GT. It still sounds and drives largely like a piece of shit, but it's a more manageable piece of shit. I don't like it. Don't like the way this car handles before the update. It's better now in terms of its handling. I thought it was quite stiff before. Same thing with the GT. I thought it was very stiff before this update. It's not as stiff as it was. And I can say the same thing about this car in this update. It's not as stiff as it used to be. Which makes it easier to drive, in my opinion. Got a little too aggressive with a curve there. If I was more comfortable with the way this car generally handles, I'd probably take that a little bit quicker. Car does not accelerate very well, but it handles a lot better than the other group, than on Group 3s. Right now we're about 1.3 seconds off a pad lap. I'm gonna have to do a pad lap with this car just to compare. I think that was faster than our wheel time with the GT. Not the pad. Ooh. Ooh. Got a little slidey there. Okay, well, we'll mulligan that. Didn't need a mulligan on the wheel, so. It's my lack of familiarity with this. The pad is kind of getting the better of me here. Too wide. That's a me mistake there. You can tell I'm on a pad because of how much I'm micro-correcting. But so far, my, I don't want to say mind blown, but this is not what I'm expecting. I am faster on a pad. I was not expecting that. I'm not going to complain. I know a lot of people who've been complaining about the pad just being that big of a disadvantage to the wheel. The fact that at least the GT around here I'm faster on pad is interesting. How about in the Porsche? We did a 211 in the Porsche earlier. On the wheel. What do we do with pad? Or purple? Now I am noticing that I am burning the living daylights out of these tires right now. I do think pad tire wear is still worse, but yeah, I was late on the brakes there. So that'll cost us some time. But a second and a half past fast, but I did not want to do that. But still, 208, a whole, what was that, 3 seconds faster on the pad, on the same track, same physics, same car. 3 seconds faster. What the hell? Oh. So this update, I do think, is going to bring the pad back closer in line with the wheel drivers. Yeah, so this is going to make for some competitive racing, I think. Yeah, I do think tire wear is still worse for pad than wheel. But the handling's there now. The handling on pad is there. As long as you stay out of... Actually, I need to change something now. Does that pulling only apply to championship mode? Just go back to light. Wait. I didn't actually change it, did I? Change it to light. I'm gonna go back to the GT just because that's what we did this test with earlier. Let's get some demo. We're on mediums. That's because the last time I actually raced the car was mediums, but I did testing was on softs, I think. If not, that's a factor. Maybe being slower on pad than wheel. Alright. Suspension damage! Okay, so that is still there, which doesn't seem to be as significant. Or has that always been there and I'm just not noticing it? It's already gone. It's already gone. Suspension! still not getting suspension. What the? That should have been suspension damage. Let's get some significant suspension damage. Here we go. No? There we go. Why is it so hard to get suspension damage when I'm trying to get it in light? Okay. So. Okay, no, it's nowhere near as bad as it was. That was just me not. I mean, yeah, your ability to turn is impacted, but it's not actively pulling you in light the way it was on Championship. And it's already gone. Alright. That's all I wanted to know that. Alright, so we've been through all the major stuff with this update. We've gone through the Championship damage model. It's significantly different than what we've been doing for leagues. I think the Championship model damage model will be great for leagues even. Just because it's just that step above that you really need for a good racing league here. It ups the difficulty level a lot, which you want in a league. You don't want everything to be easy. In fact, you want drivers to be able to learn and improve during the league, so you up the stakes a little bit in terms of difficulty for a good league. And I think the Championship damage mode helps tremendously with that. But if you're on a pad, that Championship mode is going to suck because it pulls you very hard in the direction according to where your suspension damage is. And while it doesn't take that long to go away from when I was able to test here, it's significant while you do have it. And then, so we got to experience the Caterham. It's going to be a fun car. I expect to see a good few leagues for that thing. It's going to be fun. And then, so there's also the two Toyotas and the Hyundai. We're not going to go over those. I'm not interested in those cars. Just because they're not in my wheelhouse of where I enjoy. So I'm not going to go over them, but they're there. They're there for the taking. They're $70,000 a piece. At least the two Toyotas are. The Hyundai, I don't know. Don't care. Hyundai get burned for all I care. But I hope you found this informative. I am the Damn Cat Gaming. And yeah, so all in all, physics update is noticeable. I'll have to put feelers out just so we see a lot of cars that were not particularly viable for, like the Ford GT. That's very stiff handling. It's not as stiff. It's better to drive now. That's promising. But we saw that on the same checklist with me when a car that I don't like is so much faster. Like a second faster on wheel and then full 2 seconds faster on pad. And that's really the big thing, really. That is the big thing, really. That after all of these years where I've barely touched pad, with this update, I am at least a whole second faster on pad. I find that crazy. I'm not upset by it. I just think it's interesting. It just means I have a lot more to learn in terms of using the wheel, which is fine. It's what I want. Now I really got to step it up because I'm faster on pad again. I haven't been faster on pad since I was still on GT Sport. But yeah. So this is update 1.7.1. And Physics change. Interesting. Cars generally do seem to be a little springier in the rear. What little tests we've done, this Porsche, the GT, and the Caterham were all kind of bouncy in the rear, it felt. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's different. People want to take some time getting used to it, but it's not a bad thing. I like it. And then with the changes that they've done for pad users, I still think the tire wear is worse on pad than on wheel, but part of that was just because I was faster on pad. And unless you are a god at tire saving, fuel saving, pad is going to be worse. And you're going to burn through your tires quicker if you're quicker. But yeah, that's my takeaway from this update. Pad users get a nice bump in their handling, not necessarily their ability to manage fuel and tire, but their ability to be quick, their ability to turn quickly, to adjust, to take corners. That's much better than it was before. And with that, I am signing off. I will catch y'all the next time I see y'all. And I hope y'all have a good one till then.